us nowhere, gets us nowhere, way too fast. Silence is what kills me. I need someone here to help me, but you don't know how to listen and let me make my decision. I'm sitting locked inside my head, remembering everything you said. The silence gets us nowhere, gets us nowhere, way too fast. Your insults and your curses make me feel like I'm not a person, and I feel like I am nothing, but you make me, so do something, 'cause I'm fucked up, because you are, need attention you couldn't give. I'm sitting locked inside my head, remembering everything you said. The silence gets us nowhere, gets us nowhere, way too fast. I'm sitting locked inside my head, remembering everything you said. The silence gets us nowhere, gets us nowhere, way too fast.
To the ancestors, known and unknown, Ashe. To the gods, known and unknown, Ashe. All the praise, all the glory be to the Most High. What's going on, guys? It's your favorite cosmic warrior, back at you with another Galactic Transmission. Today we're gonna get into part 2 of the second treatise of the Great Seth. Part 2: Unity, Wisdom, and the Fall of the Archons. When I returned to the revealed heights, the sacred realms the world had refused to acknowledge, that moment marked my third baptism, made visible for all to witness. As the 7 authorities fled from the consuming fire, and the brilliance of the Archons faded like the last light of a dying day, darkness fell across their domain. The world grew hollow and fragile. Their servant was shackled by countless chains, and fastened to a wooden post with 4 nails of bronze. With his own hands, he tore the temple veil apart, unraveling the illusion it had maintained. Then the earth trembled, chaos was shaken, and the souls that had long slumbered in silence began to stir. They rose with new strength, casting off the weight of blind obedience, ignorance, and lifeless rituals of death. In their awakening, they embraced a new identity. Why did they rise? Because they came to recognize the one who is truly blessed, the eternal, radiant, unknowable source of life. That blessed one is me. I came to those who were mine and made them one with me. I need not say more, for our divine intention, our Anonia, was already joined. That's why they recognized my words. Long before, we had already conspired together to bring down the dominion of the rulers. And so, in full alignment with that purpose, I fulfilled the will of the Father. And that Father, I am. When we departed from the world above and entered this realm in invisible, physical form, we were met with hostility. Hatred pursued us, not only from those unaware of truth, but even from those who claimed to serve Christ. Believing they were doing right, they acted from spiritual emptiness, unaware of their true nature, like unthinking beasts, reacting in ignorance. They lashed out against those I had liberated, driven by resentment towards the light they couldn't comprehend. And if the redeemed had kept their pain to themselves, silence would have broken their hearts, for they still hadn't fully come to know me. Instead, they tried to serve two masters, or even more than that. But in all things you will win, in war, in struggle, through division, through wrath. Yet our love remains upright, innocent, pure, and good. Because within us is the mind of the Father, a mystery beyond words. It was honestly laughable. I can say that myself, it was absurd, because the Archons had no idea about the real, indescribable union that exists in the pure truth shared by the sons of light. They tried to copy it. They tried to They created a doctrine centered on a dead man and falsehoods, pretending it was like the freedom and purity of the perfect assembly. But instead, they tied that teaching to fear and slavery, to the worries of this world, and to hollow rituals. They're small-minded and ignorant because they don't carry within them the nobility of truth. They actually despise the one who dwells within them and love the one who does not. They don't understand the knowledge of the greatness because it comes from above. It flows from a source of truth, not from slavery, jealousy, or a craving for worldly things. Those who live in that truth can freely use what belongs to them and even what doesn't, without fear. They don't desire selfishly because they already have true authority, and they live by a law that comes from within themselves, doing as they choose. But those who don't have this truth, they are poor, they are missing him, they crave him, and in the process, they misled others, people who are trying to live in the freedom of truth. The ones they deceive end up trapped in service, and stress, and fear, bought into slavery just like us. Now, someone who's forced into obedience, pressured and threatened, is still watched over by God. But the fullness of the Father's nobility doesn't need to be guarded that way. He watches over the one who truly comes from him, without needing to speak or demand anything, because that is already united within it. That is already united with his will. He belongs fully to the Father's Anoia, the living thought. His purpose is to complete it, to bring it to perfection, and to make it indescribably whole through the water that gives life. He'll be with you in mutual wisdom, not just in words you hear, but in actions and fulfilled promises. Because those who are perfect deserve to be rooted in this truth and united with me. In that way, they'll never fall into enmity, but remain in true and good friendship. Everything I do through the good one. This is what it means to be joined in truth, that you live without enemies. Anyone who causes division, he won't gain wisdom, because he creates conflict and proves he's no friend. He sets himself against everyone. But someone who lives in harmony, in natural and sincere brotherly love, not fake, not partial, that person truly reflects the Father's desire. He embodies what is whole and universal. He is perfect love. Look at Adam. He became a joke, just a flawed copy of true humanity made by the Hebdomad. It was as if he was supposed to be greater than me and my brothers. But we never wronged him. We didn't sin. Same goes for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They became a laughingstock too, called fathers, but their names were given by the Hebdomad, pretending they were more powerful than us. But again, we've done nothing wrong. We didn't sin. David, also a joke. His son was called the Son of Man, But that was just the Hebdommad's influence, as if that title made him greater than me and my race. But I haven't sinned. We are innocent. Solomon too. He thought that he was the Christ, but he was full of pride, misled by the Hebdommad, acting like he was greater than me and my brothers. But we haven't sinned. I haven't sinned. Even the 12 prophets were laughable, just imitations of the real ones. They were created as false versions, also through the Hebdommad, as if they surpassed us. But we are innocent in that too. And what of Moses, the so-called faithful servant? Even he was misunderstood. They called him the friend of God, but that title was based on distorted assumptions by people who never truly knew who I was. Moses didn't know me, nor did those who came before him, Adam, John the Baptist, or any others. None of them recognized me or my brothers. They clung to teachings handed down by spiritual intermediaries, obsessed with rituals, food laws, and lives of strict submission. But they were cut off from the truth, and I remained so, trapped in a fog of deception that clouds their souls. That haze keeps them from touching the freedom of understanding, the liberating mind that could reveal the truth to them, unless they came to know the Son of Man. As for my Father, I am the one the world failed to recognize. That's why it turned against me and against those who belong to me. But we stand blameless before the Father. We carry no guilt. The Archon became a joke when he claimed, I am God, and there is none greater than me. I alone am the Father, the Lord. There is no other beside me. I am a jealous God, and I carry sins of the Father down 3 and 4 generations, as if he were greater than me or my brothers. But we've done nothing wrong. We've never sinned. We saw through his teachings and mastered it. His supposed glory was empty. He's nothing like our true Father. Through our unity, we were able to understand his teachings for what they really were, full of vanity and emptiness. They don't match up with our Father's truth. The Archon was a fraud, a mockery of judgment, a false prophet. To those who can't see, you're blind, and you don't even see your own blindness. You didn't know the truth, never have, never even heard of it. You refused to obey what it was real, so you ended up locked into false judgment. You lifted your filthy, murderous hands against him, as if your violence mattered, like you were swinging at air. Like the blind and the foolish stay that way, always chained to the law and to the fear of earthly things. I am the Christ. I am the Son of Man. I stand among you, not as a distant figure, but as one of your own. I was rejected for your sake, so that you would no longer see yourselves as separate from me. So don't collapse into weakness. Don't become, in a symbolic sense, like the passive and confused, those who give rise to destructive forces like envy, conflict, rage, fear, inner division, and cravings for illusions that were never real to begin with. I remain a mystery too vast for language. Long before this world ever existed, before form or matter took shape, the full assembly gathered in the celestial heights within the Ogdod, and together they conceived the plan for a spiritual union, a divine marriage, untainted by the material. It was through this sacred intention that he was completed, perfected in realms that existed beyond expression, through the powers of the living Word. That unbreakable union was fulfilled in Yeshua, the true mediator, who exists at the center of all things and holds them in harmony. He abides in a love that cannot be divided and in a power that is flawless. And around him, he sees himself reflected as the monad of everything, a thought, a father, a single being. He stands with all of them because he came into existence as one whole being, not divided. He is life itself, having come from the Father of perfect, unspeakable truth. This Father is the source of union, of peace, of friendship, and goodness, eternal life, joy that never fades, harmony and faith in life itself. They were united with the mind. They were united with the mind. Noise, who reaches out and always will, in joy, in trust, in faithful listening. That mind exists in fatherhood, motherhood, brotherhood, and wisdom. That's what the true wedding looks like. It's rest. It's incorruptible. It's truth living in spirit in every mind. It's light, perfect light, shining from a mystery that has no name. And this kind of wedding, it doesn't and never will exist in division or conflict. Not in any place or religion. It only exists in love that unites, that blends everything into harmony. All of it finds perfection in the one who truly is. You know, we're just going to go up and finish this. There's part 3, but this is a small part. So part 3, the eternal union and the mystery of the one. This too unfolded beneath the heavens as part of the divine plan to restore what had been separated. Those who came to recognize me through the power of the salvation and the bond of unity were gathered together again through the living word. Though they had once been divided, they were reunited in the name of truth and for the glory of the Father. I dwell within the Spirit, within the essence of the Divine Mother, just as the presence of the Father has always been there. I was among those who are joined not by force, but through authentic friendship, those who live free of hatred, untouched by evil, bound only by the unity born from the understanding. I have given them. They exist in harmony, both with one another and within themselves, grounded in truth and peace. All who took on likeness to me will also embody the nature of my word. They will radiate with eternal light, bonded through a spiritual companionship that never fades. They have come to grasp completely and without inner conflict that reality in its purest form is unified. All that truly exists is one, and so, like the great assembly and those who dwell within it, they will come to know this oneness. The source of everything, their Father, is beyond all boundaries and beyond all change. He is mind and word, and even division and fire and jealousy, yet remains entirely whole. He contains all opposites, all expressions, drawing them together in a single divine teaching, because everything originates from one spirit and flows back into that same unity. Oh, you who still can't see, why didn't you truly understand this mystery? The rulers who gathered around Yaldabaoth disobeyed. They were led by Enonia, who descended to him from her sister Sophia. These rulers formed a union with those around them, wrapping themselves in a fiery cloud that came from their own jealousy. A fiery cloud that came from their own jealousy. And others, brought forth by the things they themselves created, acted as though they had somehow harmed the pure joy of the assembly. And so they revealed a distorted creation, a confused mixture shaped by ignorance, imitating fire, earth, and even destruction itself. But they lacked wisdom. Naive and undisciplined, they acted without understanding, unaware of the natural order, that light is drawn only to light, that darkness belongs with darkness, that what decays clings to what is incorruptible, or that what decays clings to what is corruptible, and only what is eternal can unite with the truly imperishable. Everything I've spoken, I've revealed to you as Yeshua, the Son of Man, lifted above the heavens. I share this not for the sake of empty speech, but because of the perfect mystery, pure and eternal, that cannot be contained in words. They assumed we had determined these truths before the world was born, and that in a sense they were right. We did so in anticipation of our return, so that when we stepped beyond this world, we would carry with us the marks of the everlasting life, born from our union in spirit, bringing us the fullness of true understanding. Yet you still do not fully see it, because the shadow of the body clouds your vision. I alone am the true companion of Sophia. I have always been held in the Father's presence, from the very beginning, dwelling in the realm where the children of truth and the vast fullness of greatness abide. So now, rest with me, my brothers and sisters in spirit. Remain with me forever. Remain with me forever, though. But it's, it's the spark of the divine, that resides in each and every one of us, that resides in us forever, that can never go away, that can never be fully put out. It can be covered and buried beneath many, 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 many layers that, the archons put on us. But the archons, they established our society, they established our religions, they established our chains, our bonds, what keeps us enslaved, but what frees us? It's returning to the truth, returning to home. It's returning to the divine within us. It's recognizing that I am that resides in each and every one of us. But it's free will. But lack of knowledge, led us to believe that, we're taught that we have free will, but we're taught that we have limited free will. It's like, well, that's not very free, but it's the lack of knowledge of the understanding that we're always in full control. We bring forth more into our existence that we don't prefer, just because our subconscious kind of prefers it. But then again, it's the lesson. It's the lesson. It's not so much it prefers it. It wants us to learn the lesson. It's the lessons. It's the lessons that, we've come back life after life after life trying to learn, but we can't seem to get it. Well, it's because we're lost and we're seeking the pieces to fill us, but it's an internal puzzle, it's an internal maze, but it's kind of like it's acted out through the public. Interesting, through the public, but it's through the 3D. It's the work that we do in the 5D. It's the way that we raise our consciousness. It's the way that we shift our consciousness. It's the work that we do in the 5D that we integrate into the 3D. But free will. The choices, but what keeps playing in my mind right now is, and it kept saying over and over and over, talking about, we did not sin, I did not sin, I did not sin, but it's the archons, it's society, it's the false systems, it's the church leaders, it's the government officials, it's the people that tell you that you're a sinner, is by whose terms? By man's terms, I'm a huge fucking sinner. But by man's terms, I'm a good person too. But by God's terms, I've been a sinner. But it's by whose standards are we basing things upon? We know if what we're doing is right. We know when we're kind of acting out of jealousy, but we also know when we're acting out of alignment. We also know when our actions are justified by the Most High. And that is speaking up for yourself when people have done you wrong. It's not intentionally causing harm to people, but if the truth causes harm to you, then by all means hurt the fuck out of them. Speak your truth. Do not stay silent. All it takes for evil to survive is for good men and women to remain silent, to do nothing. That's all it takes. But it's an injustice to us. But then, But the injustices we allow to happen to us, what does that do? That puts layers over us. Whereas when we speak our truth, it's removing layers. But then it's also, it's putting out that vibration to all those that come in contact with us. And when they see you standing in your truth, your truth could really resonate with them, and it could give them the strength and the power that they've been lacking to speak up for themselves, to stand in their power, to stand in their truth. We underestimate the impact of our actions. We underestimate the impact of our words. We underestimate the impact of our mind. Our mind that's a beautiful thing, but it can be a beautiful creation or a beautiful destruction, by how we train it. How we train our subconscious. How we learn to perceive things, how we learn to label things. But free will, our free will led us to these situations we don't prefer, to these bad situations, but it's the bad situations that our choices, our decisions, our actions led us to. But it's because our actions led us to something because we have a lesson to be learned there. If we didn't, we wouldn't be speaking those words. If we didn't, we wouldn't be acting this way. If we didn't, we wouldn't be thinking this way. But we are, and that's why we're led to these certain lessons. And so if you find yourself in a lesson, well, you better pay attention to it. Don't just sit in the, oh, woe is me, this sucks. Yeah, and it's going to continue sucking until you learn the lesson. But that's a choice. Reflecting is a choice. Choosing not to see any wrong in your own ways, that's a choice. Choosing to put a blinder on or just, or putting a veil of deceit over yourself. I'm perfect. I don't do anything wrong. And that's a lie you tell yourself every time you look in the mirror, but it doesn't make it any less false. No, we're all flawed, but guess what? It's our flawedness that makes us perfect. It's our acceptance of our flaw. Well, it's not so much acceptance. It's the acknowledgement of our flaws. But I refuse to accept that I'm confined to these flaws, because it's a prison. It can be, removed. It can be purified. It's a purification process. You think there's just one fire you have to go through? There's many different levels, but it comes with different levels of consciousness that you achieve. When you raise your perspective, it's the same situation. You can continue rising and looking at it from a higher and higher perspective, and you can still find more things that you're missing. So if you still feel stuck on something, even though you feel like you've processed through it, it's because there's still part of the lesson that you've missed. You might have caught the big part, you might have caught some little parts, but there's still more parts of it that make the whole picture together for the lesson that you learned. Yeah, but free will. We get tired of looking and not finding, but it's when we exert our energy looking externally, when we need to be still and listen, first eye on the Most High, and let the Most High reveal it to us. The Most High, eyes to see, but these aren't the eyes we should be looking through. These are the eyes we normally are, but this is the eye how we should be perceiving everything. Our first eye. Yeah. How you guys doing today?
When I have nothing to say, and in this world where nothing else is true, here I
am excellent.
fire that warms me when I'm cold. You're the hand I have to hold as I grow old. You're the shore when I am lost at sea. in this world where nothing else is true. Here I am, still tangled up in you, tangled up in you. I'm still tangled up in you. Still tangled up in you.
Well, I just heard the news today. It seems my life is gonna change. I close my eyes, begin to pray. Then tears of joy stream down my face. With arms wide open under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. I'll show you everything. With arms wide open. With arms wide open. Well, I don't know if I'm ready to be the man I have to be.
I'll
take a break.
I don't know if I'm ready to be. I don't know if I'm ready to be the man. But it's not being able to see our worthiness. It's not being able to see. It's thinking that well, I'm flawed. I'm not. We're all flawed though. We're all flawed at one point. But we all have our own skeletons in our closet, right? That who are we hiding them from? We think that we're hiding them from other people, but the person we're truly hiding them from is ourselves. And we hide the things that we've done. We hide the things we've said. We hide things because of maybe we're not proud of it because of how people might perceive us after it. It's interesting too. Some of the skeletons in the closet we hide are the good things of ourselves, are the things that society, doesn't approve of. It's what religion doesn't approve of. It's what our family doesn't approve of. So we put it into the closet even though it doesn't belong there. But it's interesting. But everything that we put into the closet needs to come out. The spiritual journey, the spiritual warfare. The spiritual warfare, it's false skeletons in our closets. It's false bonds, false chains. It's sin-based religion. It's sins. It's sins by the man's eyes, right? That we're taught as sin. But as long as, it's not in violation of universal law, it's not in violation of spiritual law, we're good. We haven't, there's nothing to be seen there. But the spiritual journey, the spiritual warfare, seeing our worthiness. Being able to see beyond the veil. It's they want you to look into the closet and see a whole bunch of skeletons, but it's not. What if when you open the door to the closet, yeah, some skeletons came out, but you don't get fixated on the skeletons that are coming out. You let them pass through. But then you look through that, what do you see? You see your future, you see your throne, that's That's what you're heading towards. You know, as you willingly, free choice, free will, as you willingly choose to open up the doors, as you willingly choose to look at the aspects of yourself that you've hidden, you've forgotten about, you've suppressed, you hide. It's everything. It's everything that we've thrown into the closet. But a lot of times, what do? It's like kids cleaning up their room, right? Oh shit, my parents told me to clean my room up hours ago or days ago, and you know, now they're finally coming to check, and it's like, fuck, let me go shove everything up in the closet real quick. Hey, see, I got a nice clean room. And it's like, oh wow, it does. That's odd. You don't normally do it when I ask. It's like, where did all the stuff go? Wonder what's in the closet. We shoved it all in there. You can't just shove it all in there. You gotta fold your clothes. You gotta put the dirty clothes away. It's a process to things, you know? The process. But who do we think we're hiding it from? Do you think we could hide anything from the Most High? You know, you think we could hide anything from our higher self? It's funny, the illusions we cast upon ourselves. But thyself. How many of us know thyself? How many of us truly know ourselves? How many of us truly know all the skeletons that are in the closet? You know, but how many of us know the skeletons in the closet that aren't actually skeletons? You know, they're parts of us. They're divine parts of us. They're gifts. They're aspects of us. That's a gift. But we suppress it. We hide it. We're mislabeling. You know, it's a blessing, but we label it as a skeleton. Oh, don't let anyone see this. Once we should be showing everyone. But why don't we show everyone? Well, we're mocked for being unique. We're mocked for speaking the truth. You know, but that's kind of what the archons count on, though. You know, the spiritual warfare. They count on anyone that is actually able to see through the truth. Anyone that's actually able to see through all the BS. It's, you know, they make terms for them. You know, conspiracy theory was a term that they created so that they would have a label to slap onto people that are speaking the truth tellers. So instead of slapping a label on them, calling them the truth tellers, because what they actually are, what do? We slap a label on them, we call them, you know, tinfoil hat people, and we call them conspiracy theories. But it's only a theory until it's proven true. And how many of them have been proven true? So what's really the conspiracy? The conspiracies themselves, or the conspiracy to hide it? The conspiracy to hide it, but the conspiracy to hide the internal flame that resides in each and one of us. The conspiracy. But joke's on them, they're only conspiring against themselves. Yeah, but you know, but it's the ways that we go against ourselves by keeping things in the closet. You know, but it's not even our skeletons that we put in the closet. You know, it's all right. We had friends over. You know what I mean? They made a mess out of our room too. They did this and they did that, and you know what I mean? But we were attached with them. So what happens? You know, we throw their skeletons in there too. Interesting. Well, the things that we do with other people, it's some things, when you speak your truth, you're unintentionally putting other people into the spotlight, which it could be people that we cared about and people that, it's not our intention to bring harm upon you, but it's the realization of the harm that it does to ourselves by keeping the truth silent. You know, it's the way that we learn that, you know, it's the way that we try to protect others by suppressing our truths. And at the cost of who? At the cost to who? Ourselves, our soul, our freedom. You know, but what's interesting too, it's people opening up your closet and analyzing and just, you know, it's interesting the way that we perceive things. It's like you could open up your closet and you see everything color coordinated. You see everything, you know, separated, you know, long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, color coordinated in each. It's all categorized, right? It's all in order. It's all tidy. But then another person, they open it up and it's just, they could see mayhem. They could see, no order. They just see nothing. But nothing, But just because other people aren't able to see our order, just because other people aren't able to see our methods, our systems, the way that we make things sense to ourselves, are we going to lie to ourselves? That's part of the spiritual warfare, is getting us to lie to ourselves and deceiving ourselves out of what we already know. It's, I know this to be true energetically, but everything around me tells me, the opposite. Well, what are you going to believe? What everyone else is telling you, or what you know inside? And that's interesting too, but I'm getting reminded of jumping off of bridges. And I've jumped off of plenty of bridges, right? But my free will, my choice, Calculated risk, yes. But it's been done before. But it's always calculated risks. But are we just jumping blindly? Are we doing the research? Are we doing the proper research? Are we looking into how safe it is? You know what I mean? Has anyone died after jumping off this bridge? Are there rocks down below there? Do the cops show up here all the time to chase kids away because it is popular, because it is safe? It's just not advised. Well, some people, but ill-advised. Some people have no, they just don't have that fiery passion for adventure, right? And so how could you take someone that has no fire for adventure and, tell me that has a fire for adventure that I can't be adventurous? Just because you lack that flame doesn't mean I have to, but it's allowing, it's other people's lack of, but it's other people's fears. It's projection of other people's fears. But the spiritual warfare, it's everything. It's everything that happens right in front of our face, but it's behind our face because we can't even really see it. It's the things that we see happening, but we don't really know. But it's interesting when we shift our perspective, we shift our consciousness, and we're able to look at things from a different perspective, right? And we change our behavior. Then looking back at the past, looking back at how we did things, it's like, we were catching ourselves, right? We were catching ourselves, but then it's like, but it wasn't me. That's not me now. That was me then, with the current mindset then, with the current programming then, with the current choices and decisions that I was making at that current state. Yeah, that was me. But looking, it's catching ourselves red-handed. It's like, oh, I see how I fucked that up. I see how I was in the fault there. I see how I did it wrong there. It's the way that we can predict our own movements. So, it's the way that we can correct our movements. It's the way that we learn to correct our movements. Well, through the reflection. But correcting our movements, it's through the correcting of our, it's through the integration of the new mindset, the new programming, that we apply, that gives us our worthiness, we have our gifts, right? We have everything, our spiritual inheritances, but we have to tap into them. We have to prove ourselves worthy of it. It's not just to the Most High, it's to ourselves as well. We have to prove ourselves, that we're worthy of our own inheritance. Because if we don't even believe that we're worthy of it, then why should we be worthy of it? Oh, just because I was born. We're all born, but are we born again? Are we born again? But it's multiple rebirths. It's multiple times. It's the same situation. It's being able to, you keep feeling yourself stuck on the same situation, but at each elevation, at each shift of consciousness, at each different way we reprogram our brain and learn to look at it from a different angle. We're able to catch ourselves into the ways that, how do we even say that? It's catching ourselves. We're really sly. Our subconscious is really sly. Hey, thank you. Our subconscious is a really tricky motherfucker, right? And so trying to get a rein in on your subconscious. But it's a process. It's a slow process. It's a constant process of catching ourselves in the act. You know, it's when we catch ourselves speaking death. Catch that, stop that shit right now, start speaking life. You know, it's when we catch those words that other people spoke into our mind that aren't ours, but we let them fester. Catch that motherfucker, throw that out. Take command of the thoughts that are not yours and get rid of them. And what thoughts aren't yours? Well, anything that's not positive, that's not my thought, because I choose to think positive. I don't always, but I choose, that's what I want. That's what I will for, to think positive, to find, you know, the lesson. Because if I find a lesson, I find something to give thanks for. So that's what I'm searching for at all times. At all times, I'm searching for ways to reclaim what's mine through finding the ways that I've held myself back. But it's self-imposed prisons. It's finding the ways that we're doing it to ourselves. You know, I say it all the time too. It's not what's happening to me, it's what's happening for me. But what if it's not what I've done to me, it's what I've done for me. It's the way that my actions, my words, my actions, everything that I've done has led me here so that I can learn this. And I'll be damned if I don't learn it, because I don't want to repeat this. You know, but sometimes it's multiple times. Because they're hard lessons. They're not easy lessons. They take multiple times. You know, but we get locked up enough. We get locked up enough. But when you get a taste of freedom, it's certain things that we take for granted. It's sort of just being able to take a walk or eat whatever you want, and drink whatever you want, and just to move freely. It's things that you don't know that you are lacking until you do, and you don't appreciate until you have it removed from you. But when you start finding pieces of your soul, and it's revealed to you how you've been putting yourself, you've been suppressing yourself, you've been putting yourself into a prison. I don't like that feeling. I don't like what's attached to this. It's because even though you don't see the chain, you don't see the walls, I feel imprisoned. It's an energetic thing. Just because my eyes might deceive me and think I can move freely, energetically I feel controlled, I feel bounded, I feel I can't move. But it's all, you know, but it's interesting too. It's sometimes we stay on the same things, right? But it's each different level of consciousness. It's sometimes I need to go back. I need to end this cycle the way I'm looking at it. Now I have a fresh perspective, a fresh set of lenses. Now I'm going to go back and reevaluate the situation from this perspective, from this set of lenses. Well, set of lens. But then it's, you know, and then we close out that cycle too. But then there's still something about this that hasn't gone away. It's because there's still a piece missing. But it's repetitive, you know, new mindset, applying that, bam, done. This is all I can do with this new mindset. Now I take that, now I reassess it, and now it's you know, making any other tweaks. There are big major tweaks with the mindsets, but then after the major ones, it's slight little adjustments here and there. You know, slight little adjustments there. You know, but it's the slight little adjustments aren't, I say slight, but it's, I mean, what seems slight for, hey, thank you. What seems slight for one person isn't necessarily slight for another. You know, we're all on different levels. You know, it's interesting too, different levels, but it's interesting. But it's the hard work that we put in each lifetime. It's the knowledge that we gain. But it's like each lifetime. Oh well, there's the overall goal, the ascension, right? But then it's also, there's the quest where it's the soul's growth, and there's so many different ways our souls can grow. There's so many different ways our souls can grow off of the same lesson, you know, but in different lifetimes. But it changes as the times change. The way that we handle it has to change. But what doesn't change is the frequency of truth. You know what I mean? Truth, authenticity. It's a frequency that resonates. That's why, you know, when I say something that goes against what everything in society tells you to believe, but deep down inside of you, my words resonate. It's because I'm speaking the truth, and your soul recognizes it as the truth. And, but it's the recognition of, it's the things that we used to, it's giving like out of frequency. It's things that we used to be fully turned in on, the media, religions, stuff like that. It's things we used to be fully tuned into, where we used to believe it blindly, until we started doing our own research. But it's like the more research we do, it's the more that channel gets distorted. But it's because we're tuning more into our own frequency. We're tuning more into a divine frequency. We're tuning more into that. Well, it's the same concept of, as you raise your frequency, you're naturally pulling in, though that is magnetized. You're pulling in that which resonates at the frequency that you're at now. And in turn, at the same time, you're, like a magnet, you're pushing away the opposite. That's interesting too, pushing away the opposite. What I'm getting is your subconscious and your conscious mind. It's the battle. It's the battle between, it's the battle for our mind, which is the battle for our soul. But it's our subconscious that we have to get a rein on. It's our subconscious that we have to have control over. But that happens through conscious choices. You take control of your subconscious. You hijack your subconscious by taking full control over your conscious. And that's not submitting. That's not submitting by dimming yourself to coddle to other people's feelings. That's not dimming your truth to coddle to other people's sensitivities. It's not coddling to people. It's coddling to yourself. It's coddling to your needs. It's coddling to your truth. Give me the camouflage. The camouflage, the hidden agendas. It's everything. Everything's revealed to us all in divine timing. It's and divine timing, divine support. But it's we always have exactly what we need when we need it. We always have exactly what we need to get us through. It's not to get you to the end, it's to get you to the next stage. It's to get you to the next step. But people think, I always have everything I need. It's not saying you're starting out a business today and by the end of the day you're gonna have an empire. You can have that empire formed in your mind, but it's not gonna come to fruition. Just like maybe it could, maybe you're that strong and powerful, but chances are it's probably not. But it's being able to hold our visions. It's being able to hold the space for our manifestations throughout the chaos, throughout the storm, knowing that this too shall pass. And once it passes, all in divine timing, not my idea of timing, but divine timing. And when that storm passes, it's going to be clear skies. But interesting too, with the clear skies, I appreciate the clear skies while they're there, because all in due time, the clear skies will turn cloudy again. The storms will come again. You will give an opportunity once again to remain calm in the storm, if you choose to. If we choose to. That's for somebody.
Yeah. Buried in sorrow, pain cut deep. Nights without rest, no soul could sleep. Lost in the storm, thought I'd drown in the rain. Broken and bitter, chained by pain. But a whisper came soft through the smoke and fire. Son, I got plans that will lift you high in the pit. see sunrise, gold in the sky, joy in my heart where the tears ran dry. No more sorrow, no more fight. I walk with the Lord in His holy light. Oh, hope runs wild like a river flow. Grace on my back everywhere I go. Stars turn to stories, ashes of flame. The outlaw's been saved, I'm a new man's name. Should be out of the dark, He's riding with me, breaking these chains, setting me free. Grief is a storm, but His light's gonna spark. God shines the fire that pulls me out the dark. Yeah, riding in the light, I'm alive, I'm free. God's grace pouring down, shining over me. Joy like thunder, rolling through the night. I was lost in the dark, now I ride in the light. From ashes to joy, He turned me around. From silence to praise, I lift up a sound. The valley was deep, but the morning came bright. God broke my chains and He gave me new life. Fruity out of the dark, now I'm riding the light. Shadows behind me, His mercy in sight. Grief had me bound, but His love won the fight. I was lost in the dark, now I'm living the light.
Deep down on the low, now it finally feels like some of them only know the truth. Somehow it's all about you. As you try to give me gold, now I always want alone. Every single day for something to keep me out and light to keep my cool, yeah. Ugye voltam zamítni berész, roztásosabb minden bevelevisz. Esténként robbanad a cannabis, megmutatom magam, hogy az innen fény. Kitapolod az utat, engedel ezen az fix. Puskás megtilálnál bennem az X. Majorka hotel, a paradíz. Itt vannak a csajok és peleg a víz. Csak hagyj egy kicsit élni, csak hagyj egy kicsit teret. Kajakodom vagyok, nincsen olyan nagyon, aki elhiszem, hogy én nem szeret. Nektek inaktivitás, életem, leszem, elosztom, mint másik. Csak maradok, de hunyom a szememet.
Ki uralja egy adott ország médiáját, az eldönti, hogy ki uralja az adott ország gondolkodását, és ezen keresztül, hogy ki uralja az adott országot.
Over $200, the money makes you filthy, but the money gives you power. Learn not to see over this iron curtain. Part of a never know every room of your mind.
You know, money, they, you know, a lot of people think that money gives you power. Money gives you inflated ego. Money gives you a false sense of power. It might give you some authority, but where? In this realm? Just in this realm. It doesn't give you authority anywhere else. You know, giving people our power, giving our power away. You know, it's the energy of people that thought that they could block your chakras. Underqualified. It's no coincidence that the puzzle just came up right then. They're underqualified. They don't have the right pieces. You know what I mean? They're not able to make the pieces fit. They're not able to find alignment. They're not able to find the calm in the storm. but it's your ability to find the calm in the storm. It's your ability. It's your ability to drop mindsets that no longer serve you. And it's not necessarily just mindsets. It's South Node. It's South Node activities. It's getting rid of any and everything that kind of that's dictating our movements, because it's the way that we perceive things. It's the way that we perceive things that dictates our movements. Because if we perceive something as negative, we're not going to naturally move towards it, are we? Which is why relabeling. It's really important to relabel things. It's really important to label to question the labels that. Well, especially the labels that have been put on things by other people, But it's also the labels that people have put onto us. But it's the power of the mind. It's wanting people to be able to see you. Well, see you as someone that's weak-minded. Someone that doesn't stand for anything. But then it's like, but it's learning to pick your battles. It's learning when to pull the sword out. It's knowing when to show mercy. But the funny thing about mercy is, though, people don't even know when you're choosing to show them mercy. They're only going to find out when they faith around and you stop showing them mercy. But it stop showing mercy. Sometimes it could be, it's not necessarily doing actions upon people. It's simply the preventative actions that you've taken to prevent harm to happen to them. You remove those buffers. The ways that you've been going out of your way to accommodate to them, you pull that all back. You remove that all. You no longer have that. The ways that we go out of our way for other people. But not to say that it's not to say, but it's that the threat is learning the difference of when you're enabling and when you're actually helping. If I'm helping, great, I'm helping. I'm gonna keep being a threat by helping as many people as I can help. But if I'm enabling, I'm gonna stop enabling. The threat is being able to see the difference. The threat is being able to know the difference. The threat is being willing to walk away. I'm enabling you. I can't enable you anymore. I wish you the best. Wishing you the best from over here.
All I work is crop tops, you can tell I'm in the gym. Yeah, shot a trim, made them cut off his BM. Now ask and turn them on, they always asking where I'm from. Shit, you can look me up and find me on that bitch.com. Still feeling like I'm right, got them on to touch my body. Pretty yeah shape, looking like I Photoshop.
Hey, walking people, I see myself beside my everything that I need. Always been so good to me. Now tell me how you do it. First thing first, it's a real body. You can tell how I move. It's all right now to the road. And you need to have when you're home. First thing first, it's a real body.
Let me talk to him. Let me talk to him. Let it rain. Let me talk to him. Come on.
Tell me that I'm 14, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, she got low. Them baggy sweatpants and the Reeboks with the straps. She turned around and gave that big booty a slap. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, she got low.
You know what it is? Never seen nothing like that. Yeah, but you know what I'm getting? I'm getting a visual of that song, but it's like grinding, right? But it's like what goes, you know, it's going down, but what goes down must come up. But then it's the friction between, it's the chemistry and it's the friction. But it's the chemistry and friction. It's our masculine, it's our feminine, it's. You know, but it's. They want you to, it's the shadow work and going low. The shadow work and going low. But it's like going low, 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 low. And you're going deep within yourself. But it's like the deeper you went into yourself. You know, they expected you, you know, to run out. They expected you to run out of steam. They expected you to run out of willpower. They expected you to just run out. You know, but we always have exactly what we need. Not to make it to complete the race, but to make it to the next step. I might have been running on fumes on the road to my glow up, but I never ran out completely. You know, I always made it to the next gas station. Even if I was on fumes, I still made it to the next gas station. Still made it to the next gas station. You know, but it's the we get fixated on how much gas we have, and we think that, you know, but misleading. Sometimes the roads are labeled next gas station X amount of miles, you know, but the fear, you know, what if there was a brand new gas station that just got installed on that road? You're running low on fuel, you see the next gas station sign is 120 miles away. You only got 30 miles left to fuel, you know, but then all of a sudden there's a brand new gas station that just got put in. Hasn't been updated yet. You know, it's the way that you always have exactly what you need. It's the unpredictable, but it's unpredictable by us, ununderstandable by us, all knowing by the Most High. You know, we're always exactly where we need to be. We're never fully frozen. If we're frozen, it's because we're allowing ourselves to be.
Trucks, we kill whitetails and greenhead ducks, and drive our four-wheelers down the main road, and bust out the sleds when it's cold. We got back roads and four-wheel drives. We got
you know, back roads and four-wheel drive. It's riding your four-wheelers on the you know, on the dirt roads, but it's your, you know, but off-road vehicles can be used in, you know, on the road, right? A lot of times off-road vehicles are used, you know, on the road temporarily to get off-road more. Interesting, but it's the shadow work. It's the work that we do. It's the work we do off-road. You know, but off-road. You know, it's what happens on the paved roads. Well, the paved roads are easy, right? The paved roads are normally smooth, you know, they're not as rocky, they're not as bumpy. You know, but what are the paved roads? The paved roads are ways that everyone follows. The paved roads are ways that everyone follows. You know, the unpaved roads, the class 6 trails, you know, those are the bumpy rides. Those are, you know, the thrill seekers choose that. The thrill seekers. You know, trying to skip to the end of the race, trying to just get a medal just because, you know, you popped in at the end. Did you earn it? You don't get a trophy just for showing up, just for existing. Congratulations, Buttercup, you exist. You don't get a medal for that. Attention-seeking horrors. You exist. You still exist. The crimes against humanity, that's given they were trying to faith around and find out. They tried to take you out in the spirit, not realizing who you truly are. They're deceived. They're deceived, by their, they let their worldly eyes deceive themselves. Even with, but it could be, evil covenant, but it's a group of people. It's a group of people that have ill intentions. It's not necessarily a bunch of people in robes doing chants. It could just be family members, that are jealous of your gifts. It could be family members that want what was left to you. It could be physical, it could be spiritual. It could be both. Lack of funding on both. Lack of funding. Faith around to find out. Try to auction off your soul. Any spiritual gifts that they once may have had, removed. Any spiritual protection they once may have had, removed. Any momentum the Wheel of Fortune might have had in their favor, removed. And not just removed, spinning in the opposite direction. But it's the word the life that's sticking out to me. They life pull. They life pull. It's the pull of their lives. It's looking back at all their actions. It's looking back at all their choices. It's looking back at everything. And it's like, we're going to look back at everything, and we're going to see all the work that we put in, and we're going to look at all that we've had in return. Oh, shit. There's nothing here. There's nothing to show for it. Is it worth it? Was that a good return? Fuck no. It's finally being able to see that it's all been in vain. But it's the energy of doubling down. It's the energy of tripling down. It's the energy of, well, we're already pot committed. Let's just keep on going. You're interesting too, but pot committed. But it's, as long as you still have a breath, it's not too late to start correcting some of the shit you've done. But it's once that breath is removed from you, no, there's no return. There's no return after that. Not this lifetime. No returning. No returning to our ways. It's not returning to the contracts and things that we made before we knew better, before we were aware of our choices, before we were aware of our actions, and how we might have perceived them as good, as positive, and not really seen them for as they truly are. But then it's, everything is revealed over time. Everything's revealed over time. These attention-seeking whores. They're going to get attention all right. Not the attention they want, but it's the attention they deserve. It's the attention that they've earned.
No wonder why the crime rate is responding. The people need the cheese to hold a meditation, and the working class want to eat them sentence. Little lions down, burn them down. Local, we local, we international, and we global. I'll tell you this, local, we no local sound. This little lion sound, now run this reggae business. No, we no local, we international, and we global.
I got visions for me only. I will never give up on me.
The visions we have for ourselves. The visions we have for ourselves. But it's tapping into higher perspectives. It's tapping into our spirit team. It's tapping into higher knowledge. But it's through tapping into the higher knowledge that we're able to see the things in our life that we have to call judgment upon. We're able to see the things in our life. It's our faults. It's not other people's faults. It's ours. It's our choices. It's our actions. It's the things that we have done that have put a bond and a chain and have been hindering ourselves. But it's the shift of consciousness and realizing that. It's the shift of consciousness, but it's new levels, new devils. It's the shadow work. It's it's interesting too. But it's like new levels, new devils, and what is that? It's new ways. It's new habits that we can form. It's new mindsets that we can form. The things that were formed. It's interesting too, the things that are formed, the reprogramming that we can form, the reprogramming that we consciously form, that we consciously work on. We consciously, with every thought that goes through our mind, the ones that don't align, cutting it down, the thoughts, the words, it is just consciousness. It's the conscious awareness that we bring to our subconscious. But it's through the acknowledgement, it's through the awareness, it's through the constant reflecting and acknowledgement of it that we're able to regain the control of our own mind. Regain it from who? Well, our lower self. Regain it from, anyone or anything that we've knowingly or unknowingly given it away to. Actually, give it away now. But it's giving away. It's sharing to others. It's giving away the hard lessons that we've learned. It's giving away at each level. Give it away now. It's at each level. It's the different stages, the different mindsets, the different changes of perspective. But it's at each level. How many times do we keep tossing out the same things? Quite often because we haven't fully learned the lesson. So it's we learn this aspect of the lesson, and we toss it away, think we learned everything. Then it resurfaces. And now we look at it through a different perspective, from a higher perspective, with the new tools that we gained, and it's just constantly. But it's constantly throwing away the chains and bonds, and giving away the knowledge, which is the key to the locks. Giving it away now. And instead of give it away, pay me. That's how a lot of people perceive it. It's knowledge, but people want to charge for it. And certain things I agree with, and certain things I don't. I don't agree with suppressing knowledge that could set someone free. That's false. That's a crime against humanity. But I do believe that we do deserve to be paid for our work. So it doesn't sit right with me at first. It doesn't sit right with me to even charge for this, because I know the lessons that I'm giving. But I did what I did, a lot of it, before I even knew about tarot, before I got into any tarot. But there's the tarot that that help to piece things back together for me in my reflecting process. And so I understand I understand the importance of giving back from multiple different levels. You know, but at the same time, we can't just give everything out. But what do we give out, and what don't we? You know, I give out the information and knowledge freely, because it's not my information to gatekeep. It's not my information to hold on to. It's not my information to make a profit off of. And if it was, I wouldn't be in the position I have right now. You know, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't be worthy of it. You know, but at the same time, I give the information out. But one-on-one work, that's when, well, I'm sorry, but I put the information out for free. Either sometimes I offer free readings, yeah, but if you want one-on-one, you know, I'm sorry, but fuck you, pay me. I didn't get paid for any of the work I've been doing for years. Do you think I got paid for it? Fuck no. You know, then what do I have to show for it? I have my freedom. And so I'll tell others how to get back, but if you want, you know, customized one-on-one, you know, work, that comes at a cost. You know what I mean? It's my energy. You know, I conserve it. You know, but it's also the exchange. You know, it's the payment, you know, for the knowledge, but it's also the exchange. You know, it says that I'm serious. But I don't know. I no longer waste time with people that aren't serious. Too many people that will just want to blow smoke up in my ass. They blow smoke up in their ass so much they don't even realize when they're blowing smoke. But I can see clearly. I see the smoke you're blowing up your ass, and I see that you're trying to blow up my ass. And no, my ass is virgin. It stayed no, nothing. But it's, you know, but that's the thing. Anyone. But even in these teachings, the books that I read, it talks about how, you know, we're not supposed to be charging for certain information, right? Like one-on-one work is different, but suppressing information, trying to charge for information, trying to charge for knowledge, you know, telling anyone that I'm on my throne and you're not able to. It's, well, we all have a throne. The only difference is I'm aware of mine and sitting on mine, you know, and I want everyone to be aware of their own. I want you to be sitting on your own throne. You know, a competition, I'm not competing with anyone. The only person I'm competing with is myself. And that's the only person you should be as well, too. Because if you're out here competing with other people, you're never going to find your throne, because you're out here fighting for other people's. You're fighting the wrong fight. You should be fighting against yourself. That's the interesting thing, too. We think that we're fighting against other people when we're really fighting against ourselves. Other people trigger us, and we direct our anger towards them, but instead of looking at ourselves, what is this anger? What is this triggering trying to show me about myself? It's all a learning opportunity. It's all opportunities if we choose to see it that way, if we choose to accept it. You know, but we all have choices. We all have free will.
How the hell you see, but that don't mean it's something that you're destined to repeat. Oh, it's stronger than you think. You know it has to end, but you don't know where to start. You can pack your bags and I'll meet you where you are. Oh, I'll be waiting in the car in the dead of night on that broken road. I won't let you walk alone. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. Oh, we got each other, and if you got tomorrow, then you still got time to break the chain that left you scarred. But where you came isn't who you are. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. There's no peace on razor, but don't you forget, God's not done with you yet. It feels like you're losing the war in your head. Just know this isn't the end.
You know, it's not over yet, the war in our head. But it's you're a threat, because it's the way that you're constantly catching up. Oh, that's interesting. It's your higher self. It's your higher self catching your lower self. Well, yeah, you're looking at everything from a higher perspective. You can see the whole chessboard from up there. But it's catching yourself. It's constantly catching yourself. It's constantly. That's interesting too. What I'm getting with that is constantly catching yourself starting to go down other people's paths. Right? It's the recognition. It's being able to see when the path isn't yours. But that's when, you know, it could be other people intentionally trying to guide you down that path. It could be the way society, the matrix, always tries to get you to go down certain paths. You know, but it's internal knowings when we're not on our own path, when we're not beating to our own drum. It's the internal knowing. And what's that knowing? It's the disruption of your soul. It's how nothing you seem to be doing ever goes right. It's just because it's just the work that you're putting in. It's just the disruption to your soul. We're not walking our own path. You know, but walking our own path. You know, it's interesting too, but the difference of, you know, walking in a path that someone else guided you to. Attention seeking, but it's the energy of people that wanted the attention. They wanted to be able to say that without you, you know, without me, you're nothing. Without me, you know, but it's, you know what I'm getting to though, the pioneers are normally alone. That's my image of it. It's tracking the wilderness alone, right? But it's, you know, it's not a group, but it's unseen. It's your whole spirit team. It's though, you know, you might be walking alone, but are you? You're never truly alone. But that's the thing, but that's the confidence, you know, when you know that you're walking your path. You know, it's only room for one set of footprints. There's not, you know, the path is narrow. You can't, it's a one-way road. It's a one-way path. There's not movement in both directions. You know, but we can always turn it around. We can always stop our movement when we recognize the direction that we're heading. We can always turn it around. It's our choice. But no one else can make that choice for us.
Am I the only one here tonight? Shaking my head and thinking something ain't right. Is it just me? Am I losing my mind? Am I standing on the edge of the end of time? Am I the only one?
You know, standing on the edge of the end of time. You know, but standing on the edge of knowledge from the beginning of time. Am I the only one? Am I the only one here right now with the remembrance? Am I the only one? Am I the only one here that can see the ways that we imprison ourselves with our mindsets? Am I the only one that can see the ways that we're scamming ourselves out of our blessings? Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not. Giving it all for, but it's not what we give up, it's what we gain in return. It's never what was taken from us, it's what we received. It's never what was taken from us, it's what was received. It's mind control, vacation, January, prison. It's the way that we're able to free ourselves. It's the way that we're able to set ourselves free from the things that keep us stuck, the things that keep us trapped, the things that keep us imprisoned. The mindsets, the people, the places, the things. But a lot of it all stems back to the mindset. Oh, damn. These attention-seeking whores. That's... masculine energy. Shaggy. Male. Prison. Getting tarot readings on you. The tarot readings they're getting, it's not good for them. It shows, it could be spiritual prison, or it could be physical prison. But that's what the tarot readings they're getting are saying to them. The tarot readings that they're getting on you are saying that you're a threat. But the lack of funding, what it's giving is self-induced. Trying to auction off what is not theirs to auction off. Tapping into someone's energy, violation of universal law, violation of spiritual laws. Continual south node activity, continuing to not choose better. It's knowing better and choosing, worse, But it's like, it's right in your face. The sirens are going off. It's right in your face. This big red light flashing. It's like, how do you not see? How do you not see that your own mindset, your own actions? How do you not see that that's the problem? How are you so quick to blame everyone else for your problems? Yet you can't see the huge-ass fucking signs. You can't see the billboard broadcasting to you what your faults and your wrongs are, what you need to correct yourself. You can't see it. Well, it's choosing to be blind. But, ignorance is bliss. But we can no longer plead the fifth to ignorance. That's not you can't use that excuse. The information is out there. The knowledge is out there. Whether or not you choose to tap into it or not, it's a choice nonetheless. And you're aware of it. There's no more pleading ignorance. There's no more pleading the fifth. I didn't know any better. It's there for accountability. The age of Aquarius, age of truth and knowledge, but the age of accountability. We're all accountable. But we're also all rewarded for the proper shifts.
Walking on the dance, walking on the dance, walking on the dance. Warning, warning, warning. I wanna make sessions up. Everybody start singing. Yeah, this is a warning, warning, warning. I feel we vibe can't stop. It is everlasting, so I'm begging you all. Come, give it your all. Feel the music physically and spiritually. Give it your fire, come and know say you want it. Come on, run, bring the lunch of the rock. We there, you're walking on the dance. Ready for you sing and make you jump up and dance. So we there, you're walking on the dance, walking on the dance, walking on the dance. We there, you're walking on the dance. We're mashing up the place in any circumstance. We there, you're walking on the dance, walking on the dance, walking on the dance. Me know them body afraid away, stopping a back like friend of me. Reaching the friends and the family, bond, the love and the people instead of way. Don't waste no time, me shredding them up, sending them out to the hospital. Shedding the pressure, we're tearing it up, and the people are finding it magical. But overall, love is what we're bringing it down, side. One side, see the smile, them me know it sound nice. You must want to select, we pull up the song twice. Rocking on the kitchen and we adding to the house, guys.
You know, generational warfare. Pulling up and not backing down. Pulling up and not backing down. Pulling up and not backing down. But it's watch it online. But what that's given is like, they wanted you to, it's like antagonizing you into a battle. Not expecting you to show up fully suited out in your armor. And it's like they didn't even show up. They didn't expect you to show up, so they didn't even show up. It's like they had some cameras around the place, and they tapped into the camera, and they're like, oh shit, they're there. Oh shit. They did it. They're not backing down from their fights. They're standing up for themselves.
I got two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got two phones, one for the bitches and one for the dog. Think I need two more. Laptop and I'm ring, ring, ring. Count money while they ring, ring, ring. Trap jumping, I'm ring, ring, ring. Two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got two phones, one for the bitches and one for the dog. Think I need two more. Laptop and I'm ring, ring, ring. Count money while they ring, ring, ring. Wasn't start to foreign, oh my god, I'm gorgeous. I just put the key inside my pocket pocket, might not get to see it. This a new Ferrari, man in the mirror. How you choose to bother someone saying and calling? I don't feel like talking. Everything is get returned the way I bought it. Phone be interrupting me while I'm recording. Don't be making women feel they unimportant. Call my doggy, say it's all the way we're talking. Keep them on, cause I'm not using the form. In kitchen, I just finished up a new perform. Hater wish you well. I got clientele.
Yeah, I can't use the R word because it's, I don't know, they'll probably get flagged if I use the R word. But it's the mental traps. It's like they're looking at themselves as really foolish. It's like for thinking that you were gonna fall into it. For thinking that you were gonna that it was gonna keep you stuck. Now keeping you stuck, lurking in the shadows. It's the mental traps they never thought that you would fully get out of. It's like they wanted it always to be there. Humiliation ritual. But it's failed because it's interesting. You know what that's given? It's the trap. But then, not expecting you to have the strength, the knowledge, to, what do? I don't know. Maybe you had a sword and you cut your leg off. I don't know. Maybe you popped the trap open. Maybe you made it look really easy. You made it look really freaking easy. It's supposed to be the most advanced trap. No one can get out of it. And then you just popped right out of it. And guess what? You put it back just as if nothing even happened. And then they come back and check it. Is it even still working? Oh shit, now they lost a limb. But the mental traps, be careful for the ways that you try to keep other people trapped in their mind. Because you could be sent the same traps. Are you resilient enough? Are you persistent enough? Are you strong enough to make it out of the same traps you wished upon other people? I sure hope so. Sure hope so.
Hold up, what it is. I got two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. I got two phones, one for the bitches and one for the dog. Think I need two more. Laptop and I'm ring, ring, ring. Got money while they ring, ring, ring. Trap jumping, I'm ring, ring, ring. I got two.
Hey, thank you.
One for the plug and one for the load. I got two phones, one for the bitches and one for the dog. Think I need two more. Laptop and I'm ring, ring, ring. Got money while they ring, ring, ring. Trap jumping, I'm ring, ring, ring.
You know what's interesting? Counting money while it rains. Counting money. You know what I'm getting is like raining money though, but it's also the cleansing waters, the washing away. But it's the raining the money. But it's the but it's the energy and it's the flow of things. It's the well, it's interesting too. It's like freeing up a dam. The breaking of the curses. It's the the floodwaters. That's been suppressed. That's been backed up behind the dam for so long. We have all these gardens. We have all these things that all these seeds that we've been planting. We have all these crops. Only thing we're missing now is the water. But then it's like we break that dam. We break through the generational curses, and then the waters come flooding in, and then just everything that we've spent all this time cultivating, all these things that we've spent the time, preparing the soil and planting the seeds, everything. It's just, it's just a matter of time. But it's all divine timing. But it's the way that we chip away at the dam. It's the way that we slowly, it's just us, right? So it's the way that we're chipping away slowly. It's just us. No power tools, just using hand tools. It takes a while. It takes a long time. But guess what? It is possible. And once you weaken it up a little bit, it doesn't take much because of all the force that's been built up. So once you're able to weaken it a little bit, it works itself out. But then it's spread wide and far. It's seen, it's felt. But it's the ripple. It's the ripple in the bloodline that you set. It's the example that we set. They're running their mouths about the example that you're setting for people. It's the hit out on you. It's the way you're setting an example to. It's your higher self putting a hit out on any mentality of the lower self. And it's teaching people how to, interesting. It's teaching people how to locate it. It's teaching people how to track it. And it's teaching people how to eliminate it. How to sneak in, like an assassin. I'm going to end that one right there. But, yeah. That's for somebody. But I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, your comments, your gifts. Thank you for the exchange of energy. I do have time available. If anyone wants to book a personal reading with me, you can do so. But if not, until next time.